Do you as a man ever find yourself grappling with the reality of your circumstances, wishing things were different? It's a struggle many men can relate to, a continuous push-pull with the world around us. We often get caught in a cycle of resistance, a dance with dissatisfaction. Picture yourself driving and another driver cuts you off. Instantly, irritation erupts. You wish he hadn't done that. Or recall the moment you received your job appraisal and it didn't meet your projections. You wished it was better. Perhaps you've been at the airport, constantly glancing at your watch as your flight is delayed. Frustration accumulates. You wish it would depart on time. These are all cases where we as men engage in a battle with reality, where we push against the status quo, hoping to shape it according to our desires. But this resistance, this reluctance to accept the way things are, can lead us to unnecessary turmoil and disrupt our inner calm. Epictetus, a well-known Stoic philosopher, suggests that our emotional pain comes from confusing the things in our control with those that aren't. The Stoics held a profound understanding of life's intricate dance between control and surrender. They recognized that our struggles often stem from a futile battle against reality, a reality that, quite frankly, is indifferent to our personal desires and fears. This constant wrestling match with existence, this refusal to accept what is, leads us into a state of emotional disturbance. Imagine a scene of frustration, a driver cutting you off in traffic or receiving an exam grade that's less than satisfactory. Our instinctual response is to fight against these situations, to wish they were different. However, the Stoics would argue that these reactions are misplaced. The reckless driver, the disappointing grades, these are circumstances outside of our control. To grapple with them is to wage war against the inevitable, like trying to hold back the tide with a broom. So where should we focus our energy instead? The Stoics advise us to concentrate on what is within our control, our actions and responses to the world around us. If we can master this, then we'll find ourselves in a state of tranquility and confidence. Instead of being victims of circumstance, we become warriors of our own destiny. We no longer blame others for our dissatisfaction. We no longer resent life for its unpredictability, and we certainly don't find ourselves at odds with the gods. This idea is not about passive resignation, it's about active acceptance. It's about understanding our sphere of influence and acting within it with wisdom and integrity. It's about realizing that while we can't control the waves, we can learn to surf. The Stoic acceptance is a powerful tool that can transform our perspective on life. It's about internalizing a simple yet profound truth. We control our actions, but not their outcomes. Once we truly grasp this concept, we're able to navigate life's storms with a calmness and resilience that is truly empowering. The internalization of the truth that we control our actions, but not their outcomes, can empower us to calmly accept whatever happens. What if we could change our perspective and accept reality as it is, even if it's not pleasing to us? This is the question that the Stoics want us to ponder. They advise us to focus on what is within our control and accept the rest. It's a simple concept, yet it carries profound implications. Think about it. When we are stuck in traffic, we can't control the snarl of cars around us, but what we can control is our reaction to it. We can choose to get frustrated, honk our horns, and let our blood pressure rise. Or we can accept the situation, turn up the radio, and maybe even find joy in the unexpected pause in our day, or consider a poor grade on an exam. We can't go back in time and study harder, but we can accept the result as a reflection of our preparation and resolve to do better next time. We can use it as a stepping stone, not a stumbling block. When we focus on what we can control and accept the rest, we free ourselves from unnecessary suffering. We stop fighting reality and start flowing with it. We stop blaming others for our predicament and start taking responsibility for our actions. We stop resenting life and start appreciating it, even in its imperfect, unpredictable glory. This doesn't mean we become passive. On the contrary, we become more active in the areas that truly matter. We work hard, we strive, we make our best effort, and then we let go. We trust that whatever happens next is not in our hands. We accept the outcome, whatever it may be, with grace and equanimity. By doing so, we cultivate inner peace. We become impervious to the ups and downs of fortune. We learn to find contentment in the present moment, regardless of our external circumstances. We become, in the words of the Stoics, like a rock in the sea, unshaken by the waves. By accepting rather than fighting against every little thing, We can maintain our inner peace and make the best out of every situation. And isn't that a power worth cultivating? The Stoics used a metaphor of a dog leashed to a moving cart to explain their philosophy of acceptance. Picture this, a dog leashed to a cart that's moving forward. The leash is long enough to give the dog two options. One, it can trot along smoothly, following the direction of the cart, over which it has no control. It can enjoy the ride, sniffing the air, wagging its tail and exploring the surroundings. Or two, it can stubbornly resist the cart, digging its paws into the ground and trying to pull in the opposite direction. But no matter how hard it resists, it ends up being dragged along anyway, scraping its paws and exhausting its energy for the rest of the journey. This vivid metaphor encapsulates the Stoic philosophy of acceptance. The cart symbolizes the external events in our lives over which we have no control. The dog, on the other hand, is us. We have a leash that connects us to these uncontrollable events, and we have a choice in how we respond to them. Just as the dog can choose to trot along and enjoy the ride, we too can choose to accept our circumstances, no matter how challenging they might be, and seek out the positive aspects. We can focus on what we can control, our actions, our attitudes, our responses, and let go of what we can't. We can make the most of our journey, exploring new avenues, learning from our experiences, and growing as individuals. On the other hand, if we choose to resist, to fight against the direction of the cart, we're only causing ourselves unnecessary distress. We expend our energy on futile resistance, allowing frustration and resentment to chip away at our tranquility. Just like the dog, we end up being dragged along anyway, worn out and miserable. The Stoics urge us to be like the dog that chooses to trot along with the cart, not the one that resists. They remind us that we can't control the cart's direction, but we can control our reaction to it. We can choose acceptance over resistance, peace over distress, and wisdom over folly. Like the dog, we can choose to enjoy the ride and explore our surroundings, or resist and end up being dragged along anyway. Many things in life are beyond our control, but we can choose how we respond to them. This central tenet of Stoicism has been our guide throughout our journey today. As we've traversed the landscapes of ancient wisdom and modern interpretations, we've discovered the profound power of Stoic acceptance. We started by identifying the struggle with reality. The human tendency to resist, to fight against what is, often leads us to unnecessary suffering. We grapple with the actions of others, the outcome of events, the ticking of the clock, even though these things are beyond our control. This resistance is like a futile dance with reality, one that leaves us exhausted, frustrated, and disturbed. We then introduced Stoic acceptance, a wisdom passed down from the ancients, a philosophy that encourages us to differentiate between what is within our control and what is not. It's about recognizing our power to shape our response, our attitude, our perception, irrespective of the external circumstances. The Stoics urge us to focus on our actions, to give everything that's in our power, and then calmly accept the outcome, whatever it may be. The power of acceptance, as we explored, is transformative. It cultivates tranquility, confidence, and resilience. It shields us from the turmoil of external events and anchors us in the calm waters of our inner world. Acceptance doesn't mean defeat or resignation, but rather an understanding of the nature of life, a realization that we can't control everything, and a willingness to navigate the unpredictable currents of existence with grace and composure. We illustrated this concept with the metaphor of the dog and the cart. The dog, leashed to a moving cart, has two options: to resist the direction of the cart and be dragged along, or to follow the cart smoothly and enjoy the journey. Just like the dog, we can resist the flow of life and end up being dragged along, or we can choose to accept, adapt, and enjoy the ride. As we conclude, let's remember that Stoic acceptance is more than a philosophy. It's a way of life. It's a commitment to meet each moment with understanding, to greet each challenge with courage, and to embrace each change with grace. It's about making peace with the imperfections of life and finding joy in the journey, however winding or unexpected it may be. Stoic acceptance enhances our life by freeing us from the shackles of resistance, by empowering us to take charge of our reactions, and by inspiring us to live with authenticity and equanimity. It teaches us to accept the ebb and flow of life, to appreciate the beauty of the present moment, and to navigate the seas of existence with wisdom and serenity. In the words of Ryan Holiday, to get upset by things is to wrongly assume that they will last. To resent change is to wrongly assume that you have a choice. Embrace Stoic acceptance and enjoy the ride of life. So how can we practice Stoic acceptance in our daily lives? Here are some practical steps you can take to start implementing Stoic wisdom into your routine. Firstly, we must recognize what is within our control and what is not. This step is fundamental to Stoic philosophy. Take a moment each day to reflect on your actions, your thoughts, your feelings. These are within your control. The actions of others, the outcome of events, the passing of time, these are not. Remember, it's not the events themselves that disturb us, but our perceptions of them. By recognizing the difference between what we can and cannot control, we can begin to shape our responses and cultivate acceptance. Next, practice mindfulness and acceptance in everyday situations. When something doesn't go according to plan, pause for a moment. Instead of reacting immediately, take a deep breath. Recognize your initial reaction, but don't let it control you. Ask yourself, is this within my control? If it's not, let it go. If it is, ask yourself, what can I do about this situation? By practicing mindfulness, we can train ourselves to respond to life's challenges with acceptance and composure rather than resistance and frustration. Finally, use Stoic principles to navigate challenges and setbacks. When faced with a challenge, remember the metaphor of the dog and the cart. Are you going to resist and be dragged along, or are you going to follow smoothly and enjoy the journey? Remember, it's not about the challenge itself, but how you respond to it. Use setbacks as opportunities for growth and for practicing Stoic acceptance. With practice, we can cultivate Stoic acceptance and navigate life's ups and downs with grace and resilience. Remember, Stoicism is not just a philosophy, it's a way of life. It's about finding peace in the midst of chaos, strength in the face of adversity, and joy in the journey of life. So let's embrace Stoic acceptance and enjoy the ride of life. In our fast-paced modern world, Stoic acceptance can be a powerful tool for maintaining inner peace. You might be wondering, how does Stoic acceptance fit into our hectic 21st century lives? Well, the principles of Stoicism are timeless, and perhaps even more relevant today than they were in ancient times. Let's consider an example. You're stuck in traffic, already late for an important meeting. You can feel your pulse quickening, your grip on the steering wheel tightening. This is an ideal moment to practice Stoic acceptance. Ask yourself, can I control this situation? The answer is no. You can't control the traffic, you can't control the time. But what you can control is your reaction to it. Instead of allowing stress and frustration to consume you, you can choose to accept the situation, to breathe deeply, and to focus on the present moment. This is Stoic acceptance in action. And the benefits? Numerous studies have shown that such mindfulness-based stress reduction can significantly decrease anxiety and improve overall well-being. When we apply Stoic acceptance to our daily lives, we equip ourselves with a powerful tool for managing stress and fostering resilience. We learn to navigate life's ups and downs with a sense of calm and equanimity, rather than being tossed around by external circumstances. Stoic acceptance isn't about resignation, but about understanding what we can change and accepting what we can't. In the words of the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do happen, and you will go on well. So in the face of our modern challenges, let's harness the wisdom of the ancients and embrace Stoic acceptance.